Sandy's Bowling Lanes in Windham. It's the $2,000 Valley Window and Siding Championship.
Gonna split it. Look at this.
Yes!
Oh,
Wow! Right in the pocket.
My goodness.
Oh, there was never a doubt about that one.
Good-looking ball.
Yes.
And now, here are your hosts for Candlepin Stars and Strikes, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome once again to Sandy's Bowling Lanes in Windham and to Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We have reached the semifinal round, the fourth week in our 5-week Valley Window and Siding Championship. Once again, if you haven't been with us the last few weeks, this championship ladder sponsored by Valley Window and Siding in Haverhill, Mass. And we've seen some good bowling so far. And now we're down to the final 3 bowlers, Dan Murphy, and we can expect some high scores, I think.
High scores, a lot of pressure now because the money's starting to grow real fast now. And we should have a real good one today with Skip Paronto and Bob Moran.
All right, let's meet our 2 bowlers. First of all, Skip Paronto from Claremont making his first appearance with us.
He carries 118 average and bowling out of the Sunset Lanes in Claremont. And 690 is roll-off score. So, you know, he can throw the big games. It's just a matter of he can do it in front of the lights. First time on the show.
All right, and the guy he'll be facing is a man who threw a great first string here last week and then kind of cruised home the last 2 strings with a win over Bob Franceour. Bob Moran threw a 167 opener last week.
He had the strike ball working, too, last week. And I believe 4 strikes or 5 strikes in that first game, 167. Fantastic game, and he rode it to the victory.
All right, our home jackpot is up to $80 this week. It's still growing since last spring. We hope you have your postcards in. We'll tell you how to get yourself involved in that contest if you haven't already done so. But we've got a big match coming up, 3 strings, the semifinal round of the Valley Window and Siding Championship. Bob Moran and Skip Paronto will get us started right after these messages. In the Valley Window and Siding Championship, if you've been with us the whole time, you know that the first week our returning champion Lee Brown was knocked off by Skip Davis. The following week, Bob Franceour in turn beat Skip, and then last week Bob Moran beat Bob Franceour with that 402 triple. So it's been 1 win and out so far in this Valley Window and Siding Championship. But now Bob Moran will try and make it 2 in a row. Skip Paronto, the number 2 seed, stepping in and getting ready to start us off on lane 32. Skip making his first appearance on the program. From Claremont. And a 10 for Skip to start it off. Carol Downey on the big scoreboard. Bob Bover is our lob line judge. And also our resident expert on the depth, width, and all the relevant specifications of the gutter of a Candlepin bowling lane. We started talking about that last week, and now we have the complete story we sent away to the Library of Congress, and we now have the the full lowdown on it.
Now we need an interpreter.
20 pair for Skip Paronto. And now Bob Moran, who got off to that terrific start last week.
Four horsemen, right side, left side. 1, 2, 4, and 7.
No. Incidentally, if you're interested in joining us here at Sandy's in Windham for our next taping session, it's coming up Thanksgiving weekend, as a matter of fact. More details on that a little bit later on. Bob Moran now sliding over to lane 31. Bob last week had strings of 167, 118, and 117.
Just slid by the head pin.
So still looking for our first mark here this week. $250 to the runner-up on this show, and the winner comes back next week for a chance at the $1,000 first prize.
But also, the winner comes back guaranteed $500.
That's right.
Which is a nice piece of change.
The winner also comes back guaranteed to meet Steve Vadney, and that's no easy task.
Skip having a little trouble getting on that head pin with that first ball, which is so very important to scoring in Candlepin bowling.
That was almost a nice spare. .38 through 4 for Skip. Bob Moran now 1-1 on his 2 appearances with us. Lost to Jack Ray back in December of last year, and then the win last week against Bob Franceour to even his record.
And that ball was similar to some of the ones he threw last week, except the result was 1 more pin and strikes. Threw some quick ones last week. Oh boy, a little too high in the wood.
You think of how hot Bob Moran was last week in that first string down to get a 167, and then you see that high single all-time of 200.
No, he's very capable of throwing those big games. There's a spare. 1 and 2 covers it nicely for the spare.
First mark on the board.
Skip still having trouble with that first ball.
He lofted that ball out there too. That was pretty close to a lob. Goes inside and leaving the 5-9. For an $8.
There's a better looking ball right there. Leaves the 4-pin. Well, he's got a decision to make here. He got a clear shot at the 4, or he's got a piece of wood to the right that could carry it. Selecting to go to the wood.
First mark for Skip Paronto. Bob Moran now working on a spare, as you saw, coming up here in the 4th. And a beautiful pocket hit, and how did 2 pins stay up?
5-7.
Plenty of wood to help make this one work.
The 5. Down low. Slide it over into the 7. Nice shot. You see on the replay, just enough to slide that piece of wood in front of the 5 into the 7 for the spare. Gives him 2 in a row.
This time, too much of the head pin.
Spread eagle. Had a couple of shots at this last week and very nearly pulled it off. He elected to go the 3-6 side and cleared out the 3, 6, and 10, 4, and 7 left to deuce. Let's see what he does today. Again, same thing. I don't think he can make that shot. I really don't.
Needs some more work. If he ever punches out the 5, though, and leaves those 5 without the 2 pin, he'll be in great shape.
I was kidding Bob last week after the show. I said, what's the matter? Can't you make that spread eagle? Can't come any closer than those and not make it, that's for sure.
Oh, big fill for Skip Paronto, and he'll have a friendly piece of wood here in front of the 5-8.
5-8, another decision time. Either play the 5 clean or play the wood. Oh, wood cost him. Just capped the wood and went right by the 8 pin.
Skip appears to be starting to throw the ball a little bit better now, though, these last couple of boxes.
Here's another good one. Whoa.
Nothing wrong with that one.
No, he was looking at the goalpost there for a while. 7-10. 7 went down. This time, single pin all alone. It's right on it.
Second mark for Skip Paronto, 2 apiece now. And Bob Moran. Whose wife Carol has also been with us on the program.
And excellent bowler in her own right.
Will it go? No. Bob Bover will have to clear out that loose ball. Bob and Carol Moran live in Billerica. They have 7 children, all boys. Jeff, Rob, Mike, Dave, Russell, Eddie, and Rich. And yes, I did that all from memory.
It's a large family. You have to find time to go bowling.
Enough for a baseball team.
Well, a little different start this week for Bob Moran than last week. 7-pin lead, but he's opposite a spare in the 8th. Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
We'll take another look at that one.
I'll tell you, he's making a lot of cut shots. He very nearly made the spread eagle. This time he's got the 2, 4, 6, and 10. And just like it's supposed to be made. Six, 9, and 10 for another spare. 7 fill on the spare for Skip.
Yes.
Nice mark.
Skip's starting to put it together now. There's that shot.
You see that shot that Bob Moran made earlier. Fine spare. Oh, good ball.
Wow.
Nice ball.
Well, he almost left the entire back row. And then they all went.
You know, I was just looking at this ladder championship. I don't know how Steve Vadney got in there. You had to be named Skip or Bob to get in this ladder.
Right.
We got 2 Skips. Skip Davis a few weeks ago. Bob Franceour, Bob Moran, Skip Paronto, and Steve Vadney. Almost a double for Skip Paronto. He's just for a 130 game and a great finish. It's maybe 129.
Had a 46 first half and an 83 second half.
Well, Bob wants to fill this one and get another mark. Solid 4-pin, 9 fill.
Leads by 9 through completed frames, but he's up against 39 here in the last 2.
It's going to be a close match after one completed game.
Missing the head pin, but a shot at a spare here.
1, 2, and 7 left. 7 fill. 116 after 9. Needs this to take the lead. Nope. Skip Paronto is going to have the small lead after 1.
Bob wraps it up with a 10 and a 126. And it will be a 3-pin lead for Skip Paronto, carried over into the middle string. We'll do that right after we do these messages. And a reminder to send us your postcards for the bonus ball jackpot. Include your name and address and a number from 1 to 10. Mail them to Sandy's Bowling Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. Bob Moran, ready to pick up the action here in string number 2. With, let's see.
Wants to fall backwards to clear that 9-pin out too. 6-9. A rough piece of wood out in front. Be careful of that one. Nice shot. Nice shot.
5th mark of the match for Bob Moran. All of them have been spares.
He's got that ball really breaking now from right to left, and it's breaking right into the pocket for him. Slide a little bit left that time.
Bob had that 167 first string last week with 4 strikes, and he hasn't had a strike since.
He's shown us some real good shot making as far as spares go, and he's going to snap this wood in front of the 10-pin. Let's see if it'll go.
That will not help him now. Bob will have to go, Bob Bover, that is, will have to go rescue that.
Bob, watch out for the balls coming back on the ball return. He lost a lob line judge a few weeks ago with one of those.
Bob's the man who provided us all the statistics on the gutter information. And now Skip Paronto leading by 3. He held 4 marks also in the first game. 3 of them were spares. And that could have been a lot worse. It's not much of a shot as it is, but it could have been much worse.
It looks like he just might try to drive the ball, the 6 and 10, have the ball drive through, get the 10, and would take the other 2. A little too high in the wood.
That'll be an 8 for Skip. So Bob Moran will quickly recapture the lead here in the first box. Watch out.
1 and 7 pin left. The head pin may go. No. Oh, boy, didn't miss that by much. Ball breaks a little bit from right to left, but he's using just a little too much speed. With the lane condition around these lanes, the ball doesn't break as much as probably normal for Skip.
Bob Moran with the big strike.
That's the strike he was throwing last week. 1-3 pocket, and they're quick.
Must have heard me say he hadn't had one in a while.
Looking for the double. This time it's not coming back for him.
Bob works as a supervisor of procurement planning for Avco Systems in Wilmington. And almost, but the 10 is still there.
A little light in the head pin shot right to the sidewall. Needs to come in a little heavier on it, send it down towards that 10 pin. But good start, 46 after 3. Skip Paronto still looking for his first mark the second game. Took him a while to get going that first game too, but didn't have a mark the first 5 for 46, but ended with a 129.
One, 3, 6, 9. And almost.
Wow.
The 9 is still there.
Sleeper in the back. Skip kind of took a glance at the ceiling on that shot. He thought he had that spare covered, as did I. 4 horsemen.
Skip Paronto works for the town of Claremont, which is where he lives with his wife Barb and their daughter Crystal. Barb happens to be standing there in the background with the maroon jacket, rust-colored jacket. And we are through 4. And halfway through the match, just about, Bob Moran has pulled into a lead of 18 pins. We're back with more on Stars and Strikes. Don't go away. Off to a pretty good start here in this middle string. Some of you veteran Stars and Strikes viewers will see the different background off to the left of the screen there. Been a lot of remodeling done here at Sandy's. Really looks terrific.
It certainly does. Nice place to come down and visit. Bring the whole family. Come on down and watch one of our tapings.
That's right. Speaking of that, I'm glad you brought it up. November 30th, which is the Sunday of Thanksgiving weekend. We'll have all recovered from our dinners by then, hopefully. And we'll be here from about 10 in the morning is when we start, till about 5 in the afternoon, taping 5 shows on November 30th. So it gives you a few weeks to plan ahead. We'd love to see you come on down. Say hello in person.
Well, 2 open frames for Bob Moran this time. No, Skip Paronto wants to get it going a little sooner than he did the first game. Nice out.
1, 4, and 10 for a 10 box.
There you see it. And there you don't. They really went.
So 2 open frames, although 10 boxes, against which Skip Paronto can go to work. And let's see, he'll get an extra one. It'll be the 1-8.
1-8 with some help in the back.
Bob Bover starts to go down and check that piece of wood, but it is in play.
It's got to be on the head pin. Yes,
Nicely
nice
done. And a pretty good-looking ball, a little full, though, for Skip, and he gets just 5.
He was on the head pin, but it looked like he was going to break onto the Brooklyn side, 1-2, but never quite got there. Left himself 3, 6, and 10 with a 4, 7.
The lead right now for Bob Moran is 15. He leads by 18 in this string. He trailed by 3 coming in. Semi-final round of the Valley Window and Siding Championship. And again, our sincere thanks to all the fine folks at Valley Window and Siding in Haverhill, Mass. for their support during this championship. Gives the bowlers a chance to shoot for some extra prize money, and they love that.
They certainly do. Show's got a good following. A lot of people trying out for the show now. Again, contact your nearest NHCBA house to find out when the local roll-offs are, so you can get into it. And if you're in the top 5, you'll go on to the regional finals. And if you're in the top 6, you'll appear here with Doug and I on Stars and Strikes.
If you're real nice to Dan, he'll give you a free bowling tip.
That's right. Free?
Oh, my. Bob will try and escape this 8th box now. And a half Worcester, just, it's frustrating enough, but when it happens on a spare.
Oh,
Nice
what an
out,
out.
though. It'll be a 9. So although he got a spare, it's just 21 in the 2. Skip Paronto that time did get it to the Brooklyn side, and he leaves the 6-pin.
6-pin with, well, it's going to have a clear shot at it.
Oh, boy.
Pulled the ball to the left. He went a little farther left. The wood would have helped him. He's right in between. There's a 10.
Well, it'll be the 1, 3, 7. The piece of wood frozen against the 3-pin. But no luck.
A little full on the head pin. Didn't give it a chance either the ball or the head pin to go down and clear out that 7. He can gain 1 and count with a 10 box, and he does.
The difference now 16 in favor of Bob Moran as we come down to the final 2 in the middle string. Beautiful Brooklyn hit, and the 10-pin will stay.
A nice camera shot over the shoulder like that. Really shows Bob his approach, the release of the ball, and then the action, the ball hitting the pins. Whoa, just cleared that. A spare is a spare.
If there'd been a piece of wood in the gutter there, it might not have counted.
Right. And then he had to play shortstop because one of the balls came rolling back up the channel. Had to scoop it up and put it on the ball return.
Game's tough enough without the balls coming back at you. No.
Oh, flushing that 4-pin, that's all he got. Left to 78. But 122. $123.
Well, Skip would love to have a couple marks here to make things a little bit more manageable going into that final string. Nice hit there, and they'll all go. It didn't look real pretty, but he'll take it.
Right in the 1-3 pocket. Looking for the double. Light hit. Well, looks like he's going to have to go down towards the 10-pin. Wood in front of the 10-pin, have the ball carry through, and hopefully the wood into the 5, and hopefully the 7. No, not quite low enough.
Call it an 8 and a 104 for Skip Paronto, and the totals will go up. For Skip Paronto, it'll be 233, and for Bob Moran, it'll be 249, a difference of 16 pins heading into the 3rd and final string, which will decide it when we return. Deciding championship, the runner-up today will be the 3rd place finisher for $250, and then next week all the big money is on the line, with $500 to the runner-up and $1,000 to the eventual champion of this Valley Window and Siding Championship. And remember, the winner of this ladder will not be carried over. We'll have 6 brand new bowlers coming back in 2 weeks to start a brand new ladder series. Skip Paronto ready to go to start the 3rd and final string, trailing by 16 pins as we restart here at Sandy's. And again, Skip could have been much worse. He had 1, 8, 9, 10 there for a moment.
Yeah, he's going to have a tough shot here with the 8, 9. Piece of wood out in front. He's got to use the wood out in front. Hope it comes off the sidewall.
Wow.
Drove it right straight back.
Happened to hear Skip telling some folks in between strings that he was having problems on the approach. He was sliding a little bit more than he wanted to. There's only so much you can do to control that, because sometimes if you try and do something about it, you can go the opposite way.
Well, if it's on the slippery side, it's not quite as bad if it's a little tacky. However, if you miss it at that first step, if you slide in that first step and you kind of lose your footing, the whole approach there. You might as well stop if you can. It's pretty tough once you start. But lose your footing in that first step and you're gone for that ball usually.
.16 pair for Skip to start off. Not what he needed. And now Bob Moran. Brooklyn, and they're still falling, and they'll all fall. And Bob gives a little salute at the end.
It looked like he was almost going to have an impossible spare leave. They just kept on falling. Right there. A few more. 10-pin goes. 5, then the 8.
Back to the action, and Bob leaving the 4 horsemen right for a spare opportunity.
Both bowlers, if they're having trouble, it's with that lane 31. A lot of times, lane dressing gets on the lanes. It might be a little heavier on one lane than the other, and your ball just doesn't break as much as it usually does, or it doesn't break as much as it does on the opposite lane. And if you can't figure that out, you could be in for a rough day where you bowl half your boxes in that other lane.
Oh, that was a good-looking ball.
See, Skip seems to hit the pocket on that, again, on that right-hand lane. Lane 31, he's having a tough time with. Well, no problem there. 1-3 pocket, 9-pin last one to go, and let's see if he can get in the pocket here in lane 31. Looks pretty good. Oh, a little full. Overcompensated that time. Whoops, wait a minute.
That was a nice break with that pin coming back out of the gutter.
Oh, it's not an easy shot, but it's a little more makeable than with 2-pin up. Nice shot.
Makeable indeed.
Use that wood effectively, split the 3 and the 6. Nice shot. I think he would have made that even without the wood. Just when he needed to make a run at Bob Moran.
There's that nice pocket hit, but shows you how different it can be. That one looked just the same as the one he hit in the first frame for a strike. And this time he has the 4-7-10.
He's going to play the wood. Looks like he's got a good angle on the wood. Going to carry him the ball off that piece of wood to clear the 10-pin. Hopefully the wood go down, clear out the 4 and the 7. Let's see what happens. Oh,
wow.
Not quite.
Those 2 pieces of wood spinning in front of that 10-pin look like a miniature golf course. I always hated the windmill hole.
I know.
That's what that reminded me of.
The talking whale is no problem, but the windmill is. Well, with no mark here, turn into an interesting match here. Skip's got a chance to. Oh, wow. Left the 8-pin.
Bob got robbed twice in a row there. He hit 2 pretty good shots,
Yep.
but no marks to show for them.
It's going to be an interesting final 6 frames.
It's going to come right down to the end, and we will have the end when we return here at Sandy's Bowling Lanes in Windham. Skip Paronto will be filling in a spare in the 4th. Bob Moran at 49 through 4. The winner of this comes back for the championship match next week. We'll finish it off after these words. Fourth, and anything over 3 on this fill will cut into Bob Moran's lead. And 8.
4-7 for another spare.
Right there.
And here comes Skip Paronto.
Pin, 6-pin curled back around and hit the 4-pin rather, curled back and hit the 7-pin from behind.
And again, he leaves it short. The ball doesn't seem to break quite as much in that left-hand lane for him. For a small 3 fill.
Now he's got to work hard.
Well, he's got a choice here. Either grab 2 in either corner or go for the head pin and try to get them all.
Anything over a 7 would be a moral victory here.
Oh, he's going to get,
let's see,
7 or 8 the hard way.
7 it will be. So just 20 in the 2.
Yeah, going to remember those 5th and 6th boxes.
Each bowler now with 9 marks. Bob Moran will have to work on this one.
2, 4, 5, and 7 and 8.
A little light, and that cost him. 4-pin. Stringing the 10 boxes together. His lead is 8 right now through completed frames.
Opposite a 7 box here.
And it'll be another split with no wood.
He's not getting that extra pin as he was last week and earlier in the match today. Gonna have to split the 3, 6 to get the 4. Now he's almost made the spread eagle last few weeks. That's cutting these 3 and barely nearly got it again.
Well, this thing is going to come right down to the end.
Now, anytime it's within a mark, anything can happen.
The winner gets Steve Vadney next week for the ladder championship and $1,000 first prize. The difference right now is 10. With Bob Moran in the lead.
And split for Skip Paronto, 3, 6, and 7.
With no wood, and almost. Looked like it would be closer than it was.
Now again, he hit the head pin on at lane 32. When he goes over to lane 31, let's see if he makes some kind of an adjustment. The lane does not let the ball break as much. Lane 31.
Got it in there this time, but
Little
a bad
full.
break over on the 7-pin.
Little full, left himself the 7-pin with a 6 and a 10. And, well, it's going to play the piece of wood. I don't think it's at a good angle to get that 7-pin. Let's see. Ooh, he's going to cap it. Oh.
Be a 9, 2 open frames for Skip. Bob Moran could really put himself in a good position right here with a mark or 2.
The lead is 10, I believe, right now. That's the magic numbers. Keep it in double figures and make sure your opponent double mark. And with Skip only 2 frames left, a mark or 2 here by Bob Moran will make it awful tough. There's one of them.
Right on it. Mark number 10 for Bob Moran. He had 15 last week.
Lead is 11 plus.
Still mixing. Watch out.
Oh, wow. That could have been the ball game right there. A little light hit. 6 pins standing there. 4 pins. No pins.
Skip Paronto, again, right on target on 32, and he just kind of throws his hands up and says, well, that looked like a pretty good hit.
Why not me? Yeah. I'll have to cluster 4 in the corner. Nice spare. Nice spare.
Pretty much had to have that one,
Right.
but now he needs strikes.
Yeah, he's going to have to throw at least a double, if not a triple. Now, lane 31 has not been good to him. And it looks like it'll be Bob Moran against Steve Vadney next week.
And it'll be a 118 wrap-up string for Skip Paronto and a 351. This is a strike fill for Bob Moran.
Oh. And that does it. He's going to go out with a blaze of glory here, too. Spare, strike, spare. 118 plus the ball and a full box.
So 119 for Skip Paronto and 352 total. Well, Bob won't have a 400 this week, but he'll be pretty close. Up over 380. A 132. And the totals will go up on the board. Bob Moran makes it 2 in a row with a 382. 381, rather, to Skip Paronto's 352. We'll be back, talk to the bowlers, and try and win some money for one of you viewers in our home jackpot worth $80 when we come back. Stage for our championship match next week, and it's going to be Bob Moran against Steve Vadney.
Yeah, it should be a real good one. I think Bob's going to need a 380, 400 to beat Steve. Steve's always tough in the clutch, and it's going to be interesting to watch.
All right, we will get to more on that in just a moment, but first of all, let's meet the two bowlers from this show. First of all, our runner-up, a round of applause, please, for Skip Paronto from Claremont. Making the long trip here, and unfortunately, it wasn't a little bit more profitable for you, Steve, but you just never really got started, it seemed.
No, couldn't pin. It was tough.
Was there any particular thing? I noticed you mentioned something that you're having a problem slipping a little bit.
Yeah, the ball was sliding around. My feet was sliding. Lane's really slippery.
Well, I have something here that will probably make you a little bit more happier about everything. We have a runner-up check for $250, also a copy of Jim Fairhurst's new book, and the runner-up plaque from the N&R Trophy Company of Windham. So we appreciate you being here and hope to see you again.
Thank you.
All right, Skip Paronto from Claremont, our runner-up. And now Bob Moran over on lane 31 is going to try and win someone some money. We have $80 in the jackpot this week. Hope you have your postcards in the box, and 7 is usually a pretty good number. We'll see if we can get a match here as Bob makes his way over. We got to have a winner this week because this box is getting too heavy for Dan to carry. And nope, not a match for Eddie Landry of Lowell, Mass, who picked number 6. So it'll be a TV50 NHCBA desk pen for Eddie Landry, and for Bob Moran, another win. And congratulations to you, sir, and back next week against Steve Vadney. Just another day at the beach.
Yeah, so they say, one day at the beach. I feel fortunate to get by Skippy. Apparently he's a quality bowler. I don't know Skip, but he's a quality bowler because he had a fine roll-off score. I take them any way they come. So I hope I'll be ready for Steve.
Of course, last week you had that big string. Today it was pretty much a consistent performance from start to finish for you.
Yeah, I got a big start last week. That was a break. Today it was grind them out, work hard, try to get my 10s.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that match next week, Bob. Big money on the line, so come back for it, and we'll see you then.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
All right, Bob Moran will be our returning 2-time champion next week for the ladder championship in this Valley Window and Siding title, with $1,000 to the winner and $500 to the runner-up.
Well, that's going to be interesting. Bob has the right attitude. You know, he wasn't on top of his game like he was the previous week in that first one, but he's been around long enough to know, grind it out, get your 10 boxes, and it's so very important, that third ball.
Get a look at the ladder, and there's the situation. The number 3 seed Bob Moran with that 670 roll-off score has survived his first 2 challenges, and now it'll be Steve Vadney with that 694 roll-off score coming in next week, also from Claremont, for the ladder championship match. The home jackpot, by the way, will be moved up another $10, and it'll go up to $90 next week, and we hope you have your postcards in. If not, remember, name, address, and a number from 1 to 10, and send it along to Sandy's Bowling Lanes, Route 28, Windham, New Hampshire, 03087. So we hope you'll be here with us next Sunday afternoon at 12 noon. We will have the Valley Window and Siding Ladder Championship match for you. Until then, for Dan Murphy and the whole TV 50 Sports crew, bye-bye, everybody from Sandy's.